What's up, friends? This is Paul Brettel. Thank you for joining me today for episode 3. Today, I'll be touching on 2 articles that I have posted over at Dairyland Express. The first is about, who else? J.J. Watt. There were some rumors floating around on Wednesday in regard to teams that he's most interested in. So I put something out at Dairyland Express today, taking a look at that rumor from John Clayton, but more so taking a look back at kind of where we are and how we got here. The report was there was a few misleading ones, but the main report was that Green Bay is among the, in John's words, leading teams to land J.J. Watt. So I took a look at how we got to this point. And 2, this article, other article I wrote, I think about 2 weeks ago or so, but it's about free agency. So I think it ties in well with this topic. And it's about how, although the salary cap's dropping, teams are tight on money, specifically the Green Bay Packers. It doesn't mean that they can't or won't be able to at least dabble in free agency a little bit. But first, let's start with J.J. Watt. So there was that original, or misinterpretation of what John Clayton of ESPN said on the radio. The misinterpretation was that the Packers were in the final 3 in terms of who J.J. Watt was choosing between. The other 2 teams were Buffalo and Tennessee. John Clayton would later clarify that there is no final 3. However, he did use the term leading teams when describing Tennessee, Buffalo, and Green Bay. So while it's not a final 3, I mean, that's still good news for us Packer fans who I'm assuming all or at least most of us would love to have J.J. Watt here. When determining where he's going to go, Ed Werder, also of ESPN last week, tweeted out that he has 3 main criteria. The first is quarterback, the second is the supporting cast, and the third is money. Once again, more good news for the Green Bay Packers because they check 2 of those boxes easily, no question. Of course, quarterback Aaron Rodgers, they have the league MVP, who's coming off the most efficient year of his career and appears just absolutely revitalized, rejuvenated in this Matt LaFleur offense. As far as the supporting cast, while the overall defensive numbers can have been inconsistent, you can't deny the talent on that side of the ball. There's a Darius Smith, 2020 All-Pro, should have been an All-Pro the year before, actually had way more pressures and more sacks in 2019. There's Rashawn Gary, who emerged as the season went along. He finished 15th among all edge rushers in pass rush productivity, which is an efficiency metric. Then there's Kenny Clark in the interior, Pro Bowler, one of the top interior defensive linemen in the game. You got shutdown corner, Jair Alexander. And then you got at safety, Adrian Amos and Darnell Savage, who formed the best safety duo in the NFL last year. So we're going to check that box as well. The third box, money, obviously that's where we run into the issue. Right now, the Green Bay Packers are roughly, and this is based on the projection of the base $180 million salary cap, are about $11.4 million over. If they want J.J. Watt, they can go get J.J. Watt. There's maneuvers that they can make, extensions, structures, cuts, all that stuff that they can do to go and get him. The question is, will they want to? Because while those moves are going to provide them flexibility in 2021, they're going to lose it in 22, 23, and beyond. So once again, it's that weighing of it. Is it worth it? How much does he cost? And that's another thing that they have going for him as well. Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated had an article out this week that teams aren't, as far as the price, they're not looking to pay J.J. Watt the price of 3-time Defensive Player of the Year J.J. Watt. His last year in Houston, if he were to be on the 2021 roster, had a $17.5 million base salary. Based on what Bill said, it doesn't sound like any of the teams pursuing him, and there are a number of them, but it doesn't sound like any of them are anywhere near that ballpark, which again bodes well for the Green Bay Packers. When we compare those 3 key categories, quarterback, supporting cast, and money, to the other 2 leading teams, Tennessee and Buffalo, once again, they're in good position. Compared to those 2 teams at quarterback, Josh Allen, he had a fantastic year, even received a few MVP votes. I don't think anyone saw him making that kind of jump in year 3. Usually we don't, especially in the completion percentage category. He was very good there. But still, going into 2021, while Josh Allen is ascending, I think at this point we would still take Aaron Rodgers. And then Ryan Tannehill, of these 3, he's quarterback 3. As far as supporting cast goes, overall numbers by DVOA and points per game, Tennessee is in the bottom third of the NFL in both of those categories. Green Bay and Buffalo, they're both about in the middle of the pack roughly in each of those categories as well. And like I said, Green Bay has uber talent on that side of the ball. Money, salary cap, that's where Green Bay's at their biggest deficiency. While they're 11.4 million over, Buffalo's only about $1 million. Tennessee is just under 3, I think 2.8, 2.9 range. So Green Bay compared to those two teams is at a huge deficiency. But good news, we're looking for the silver lining. They do have the first two categories, I would say, over Buffalo and Tennessee. So where do we go from here with J.J. Watt? I think we're just going to keep playing the waiting game. Jeremy Fowler also tweeted out after all this on Wednesday that there's no imminent decision coming. My guess would be he makes a decision before free agency starts, because right now he's really the only one that can be signed. But that's still 3 weeks away. I think he's still weighing his options, trying to figure out where he can go, what final offers are, things like that. So we're just going to keep playing the waiting game here. But if you're looking for optimism, I think that there's a number of signs of optimism. Doesn't mean I'm sitting here predicting that he's going to be a Packer, although I hope so. But between J.J. Watt's requirements, his rumored price tag around the league, it's not going to be in that $15, $17 million range. That bodes well for the Green Bay Packers. And honestly, the longer that this drags out, that might affect the price a little bit as well. So I think Green Bay's sitting all right, but now are they going to make the moves that they have to bring him in, or is he going to end up elsewhere? So we'll just keep playing the waiting game on that one. So the second article, like I said, I wrote this one about 2 weeks ago. It's about free agency, because I think the mindset of many, and understandably so, is that with Green Bay having to make a number of moves just to get under the salary cap, that free agency, they're not going to really have the opportunity to do much of anything. And while expectations shouldn't be that they're going to go out and make these huge moves like they did in 2019 with the Smiths, Turner, Amos, the opportunity for them to dabble, make some veteran additions, I think that's still going to be there. The big reason is because it's not just the Packers who are struggling with the salary cap, it's everyone else, or a majority of other teams around the NFL as well. The star players in free agency, they're still going to get paid this offseason. That's not going to change. The players who are going to get hurt are the veterans, that middle class. They're going to get squeezed. Their contract lengths are going to decrease. Their contract prices are going to decrease. And that could create an opportunity for Green Bay to swoop in and get someone that maybe wouldn't have been available. And Brian Gutekunst, after David Bakhtiari signed his extension back in November, he even alluded to this when talking with the media. Here was his exact quote: "The players that might become available to us during the March period may be a little different than it has been in the past. And we want to have some flexibility to do those things if we can." So once again, he's referring to the squeeze. There's going to be a lot of free agents who aren't going to get their what they normally would have gotten on the market in a typical offseason. And that could create the opportunity for the Packers to swoop in, maybe get someone on a 1-year deal, maybe a 2-year deal, and then have them re-enter free agency next offseason when hopefully the salary cap is back to normal, and then they can cash in on another contract. These are just examples, of course. I'm not sitting here saying the Packers are going to pursue them or these guys are going to end up Green Bay Packers. But someone like wide receiver Marvin Jones, we know him from the Detroit Lions. Right now he's projected, and this is off Spot Track, to land a 3-year deal worth about $32 million. So just under $11 million per year. Perhaps someone like him, maybe he ends up on a 1 year in the $6 million range, $7 million range. Or Mackenzie Alexander, cornerback from Cincinnati. He's projected 3 years, $25 million. Maybe he's a 1 or 2 year deal at $4 million per year. You get the point. And like I said, expectations shouldn't be that the Green Bay Packers are going to go out and sign everybody. But the opportunity to land some veterans who can come in and contribute, even if it's on a 1 or 2 year deal, maybe it's a 2-year deal like Rick Wagner and Christian Kirksey got. Really, it's a 1-year deal with a team option is basically what those were. And so we could see some similar types of contracts handed out this offseason. So I thought that was at least worth mentioning, because it's not all doom and gloom like a lot of what we hear. I do think, and Gutekunst alluded to it as well back in November, the opportunity to make some of those additions just because of what the shrunken salary cap is doing to the market might be there. But also in all this, we really don't know at this point. This is just uncharted territory for us as fans, obviously trying to navigate and understand what's going on, but also for the football teams, general managers, all of those guys as well. This is brand new for everybody. So we're still going to have to wait and see how it all unfolds, but perhaps the opportunity is there to add some veterans, which in Green Bay's case would be good, especially at cornerback, or if they can get an interior defensive lineman in as well before entering the draft. That could really give this team a boost. So there you have it for today. I appreciate you joining me. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel here. I really do appreciate everyone who's tuned in. You can follow me on Twitter at Paul_Brettel, and you can find my work over at Dairyland Express as well as Cheesehead TV. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.